Mart follow a predictable speed. Indeed.
Oh! This is just... That's our expression for... Just as surprised as you are.
For how long have you had fever?
Eloise...
Does he know? I doubt. And until he knows...
Just let him hear it from me. I just need...
Time for the happy couple.
I think you would find her rather common.
Allowed, Mr. Dankworth.
If we... to all that Mr. Bridgerton's...
A hand in.
I certainly do.
We'll see fit to make.
After their sultry carriage ride, Colin Bridgerton, Luke Newton shows Penelope Featherington, Nicola Coughlan into his mansion, as narrated by Lady Whistledown, Julie Andrews. You still recall the two fingers. Naturally, they got engaged recently. As Colin tells Lady Violet Bridgerton, Ruth Gemmell, Francesca, Hannah Dodd, and Hyacinth, Florence Hunt of their engagement, Penelope is stunned. While Violet and Francesca clutch Colin, Hyacinth hugs Pen. Looking less than excited, Eloise, Claudia Jessie walks into the room. With Pen pursuing her closely, Eloise excuses herself. Pen's engagement to her brother astounds her. How long has Pen felt something for Colin, she wonders. Eloise goes on to say that if Colin doesn't know Pen inside and out, he can't love her with all of his heart. Pen would then have to admit that she is Lady Whistledown. Pen says she will inform him soon, she swears. That night, Pen sits in her room, penning the most recent version of her scandal sheet. Luke Thompson's character Benedict Bridgerton and Hannah New's character Lady Tilly Arnold had an early role in the hay the next morning. Tilly takes out her copy of the booklet written by Lady Whistledown. Upon a quick look, Tilly suggests Benedict might be interested in this specific version. Meanwhile, Mr. Dankworth, James Foon reads the lines of Whistledown to Mr. Finch, Lorne MacDonald, Lady Portia, Polly Walker, Philippa, Harriet Keynes, and Prudence, Bessie Carter, the Featheringtons. The only one who appears enthusiastic about his sister-in-law is Finch. Pen listens in on the group to determine how they respond. In another scene, Daniel Francis as Lord Marcus Anderson and Adjoa Ando as Lady Agatha Danbury sit at the breakfast table and take in the news. Agatha is happy that the contest went as planned. At the palace, Brimsley, Hugh Sachs reads Queen Charlotte, Golda Roshuval the pamphlet written by Lady Whistledown. It mentions Lord Kilmartin and Francesca's courting in addition to Pollen's engagement. Once more, a Bridgerton chose not to marry the impoverished Marquis, who was the Queen's chosen marriage. LW, however, doesn't defame the Queen for this mishap. The gossip writer seems to have bit her tongue. The Queen grinned. After a protracted honeymoon, Jonathan Bailey and Simone Ashley, the Viscount and Viscountess Bridgerton, return home later. We find out that they are pregnant, and they intend to tell the family the good news. The Bridgertons are obviously in possession of a wealth of good news. When they get back together, Colin tells his brother and sister-in-law about his engagement, which causes them to become very thrilled. Cathany looks radiant. I adore it. Elsewhere, Eloise confides in Jessica Madsen's character, Cressida Cooper, about Polen. Eloise wonders if Pen exploited her as a pawn to get to her brother, as Pen met Colin before her. Cressida concedes that her thoughts are elsewhere. She is to marry Lord Greer, who is not a spring bird, as her parents had arranged. Cressida, nevertheless, makes an effort to see the positive side. Maybe she can host amazing parties and go shopping all the time. The Bridgerton brothers then engage in a chinwag. Benedict and Anthony inquire about Pen. How did it begin? Has Colin yet to confess his love to her? When Benedict realizes that everything transpired so rapidly, he asks Anthony whether he intends to duel his own brother. This callback is fantastic. I adore my Benny as well. Colin is encouraged by Anthony to express his feelings to Pen. Pen discovers her mother discreetly gazing out the window in the meanwhile. It still amazes Portia that a scandal sheet contained information about her daughter's engagement. She implies that Colin couldn't possibly love Pen since she finds it hard to believe that they are in love. She also brings up the events surrounding the Marina scenario for Pen. Fortunately, Colin hears this. He intervenes, setting Portia straight and ending her fixation with social status. He also professes his love for Penn. After they get married, Colin shows Penn their new house. Readers of books, this is where the much-awaited mirror scene occurs. Colin wishes to display Penn his best features. Clothes are removed, and things become heated and heavy. Colin follows up with Penn to make sure she is happy with this. We like a man who values permission above all else. Colin questions her readiness. She begs him to give her instructions. They sit down on a chaise sofa and he gives her instructions. As an aside, the exhale Penn made upon seeing Colin's Mr. Bridgerton had me laughing uncontrollably. If you have been following Luke and Nicola's interviews, you are aware that during one of Colin's sultry moments, they smashed a piece of furniture. As they enjoy the after-coital glow, Penn asks if they can go in for round 2. Colin quips that it takes him at least 10 minutes to feel better. They chuckle. Giddy Polan is my favorite. Kate and Anthony are sharing a bed in the interim. They're curled up together. Kate questions if they need to enjoy their good news for a little while longer. Violet has a lot on her plate already. Kate doesn't want Newton to witness Anthony acting flamboyant, which I understand given that his wife is among the most attractive individuals on the planet. He is a little, delicate doggo. In another scene, Violet follows Francesca and Victor Ali's character, Lord Kilmartin, also known as John Sterling. They stroll around the park on a promenade. In order to keep Anthony from waking up during her early morning piano playing, Francesca tells him a story from her early years about how Anthony hid in her piano bench for a week. When John finds that Anthony is back in town, he considers having a conversation with him. John promises Fran he won't ever conceal her piano bench. Kate later organizes Poland's engagement celebration. When she notices Eloise sitting in a corner, looking hopeless, she tells the staff to go and talk to her. Kate suggests that Eloise express her feelings to Colin on his marriage to Penn. Kate and Eloise together have always appealed to me. I hope their relationship grows. As an aside, I'm more certain that Eloise will be the focal point of season 4 after hearing her mention how everyone is pairing off. She talks to a specific plant father because she feels lonely. Varley, Lorraine Ashbourne then tells Portia that Walter Dundas, the solicitor, has been snooping about once more, inquiring about Jack Featherington. Varley informed Dundas of Portia's absence. She suggests that Portia get to know the Bridgerton family, particularly if Dundas causes the family to run into legal issues. Portia continues to focus on Colin, accusing him of having a social status fixation. She is reassured by Varley that her main goal is to keep her family safe. Portia emphasizes that finding a compatible partner may be difficult for any woman, and she was unaware that Penn was experiencing this. Varley thinks Penelope should hear this from Portia. In the aftermath, Penn and Colin later lay intertwined on the chaise lounge. Penn attempts to persuade Colin into giving her access to his writing. He's still thinking about it. A knock on the door abruptly causes our couple to hastily get dressed and leave before anybody notices them. Agatha pays Queen Charlotte a visit in the interim. They are rejoicing, the Queen admits. The most recent leaflet from Lady Whistledown shows how helpless she is. She didn't write any bitter criticism of Her Majesty. It's time to attack and take LW out where it hurts. Colin reads aloud a note from the Queen while in the carriage. A prize of £5,000 will be given to anyone who can tell the Crown who Lady Whistledown is. Colin is happy about this. He thinks she'll soon take off her mask. Naturally, he has no idea that his beloved Penn is LW. Penn seemed to be in a panic. Afterwards, Eloise finds her brother engrossed in his work when she visits Colin's office. She requests that they speak. Eloise is offended that Colin went behind her back to propose to Penn even though he knew they were at odds. Colin expresses regret. He declares his undying love for her and says he knows Eloise did too. He wants his sister to approve of them. Colin delivers the Queen's message and the award to Eloise before she leaves the office. Next, Cressida and her soon-to-be husband, Lord Greer, Richard Durden, have a conversation with Lady Cooper, Joanna Bobbin. Greer is a lot of fun, he despises balls, music, and Cressida's Effie trinket outfit. Greer says he'll go to 1 ball a month with Cressida. Oh, and he figures she'll give birth to at least 4 or 5 children. Then Penn is asked by Prudence and Philippa how she was able to snag Colin. Don't tease Penn, Portia tells her pregnant daughters. As it should, the Penn hate train really ends here. Portia discloses that she and Penn plan to attend the Bridgerton home engagement celebration. In another scene, Emma Naomi's character Alice Mondrick observes as her kid lists every cutlery item that is used during supper. Wool, Martin Zimhangbe obsesses over his club's ledgers. Alice requests that her spouse take a week off. Move away from everything. Everyone gets together for the engagement celebration that evening. The son of the Mondricks, the Lord of Kent, plays with Gregory, Wool Tilston and Hyacinth. Portia and Colin patch things up. After meeting Tilly, Kate develops feelings for her. Danbury, Violet, and Marcus are in awe at Pollen's compatibility. Pen receives a threat from Eloise in the meantime. Before midnight, Eloise will reveal her identity to Colin. After that, Francesca, John, Marcus, Agatha, and Violet have a conversation. John is convinced by Fran to share the tale of his filthy footwear with them. John starts to become apprehensive, though, and his narrative ends before it really gets going. Colin then gives his future bride a heartfelt toast. Eloise continues, raising a glass to everyone who is actually getting to know one another. After that, Portia raises a glass to the union of the Featherington and Bridgerton families. Benedict asks Tilly whether they need more booze or if the alcohol is hitting her too hard. In the drawing room, Kate invites everyone to play charades. Pen initiates the game. The competitive side of Anthony emerges. I cherish my insane Viscount. Pen and Eloise race to solve all the riddles properly for a spell. Ultimately, Wool, Benedict, and Portia join in the conversation. Eloise is informed by Cressida that she plans to claim the Queen's bounty for revealing Lady Whistledown's identity. She gets into a brief argument with Eloise. John comes back with Fran to complete his tale about the boots. It touches Violet deeply, especially John's obvious love for her daughter. They're meant to be together. Kate informs Anthony that evening that she hopes to share their baby news. She has reconsidered. Pen flees to the shelter of an empty chamber while everyone is discussing Lady Whistledown and the Queen's message. She is breathing heavily. The clock is ticking and Eloise's ultimatum is hanging over her head. Lady Whistledown has it made. Cressida hears Portia say she can enjoy her celebrity and never have to get married. Cressida makes the decision to go by LW. Pen comes out, panting and trembling. Colin follows up with her. Violet and Agatha are told about Kate and Anthony's pregnancy announcement. Then, everyone's attention is drawn to Cressida as Cantony tries to break the news to the group. Saying she's Lady Whistledown, she says. Murmurs and gasps fill the room. Portia appears astonished. As the clock approaches midnight, Penelope is so overcome that she passes out. Colin is trying to rouse her awake while everyone is surrounding her.
Pen,